quick, and then I'll. So weird, like with using YouTube to stream. You
Uh,
have to get a new link for every time you stream instead of like with Twitch. I like Twitch's method because all you need is your like link that stays the same every time, right? But
well, you do have a channel link, don't you?
you do have a channel link, yeah. So I guess you
It
could
just
just
doesn't load.
post that
It
every
doesn't load
time.
the live stream by default.
Right, right. It doesn't.
Yeah, that is annoying.
Yeah, that's reasonable. All right, I won't see. Okay, there it is. All right. So I'm sharing the link now, so hopefully we can get guys in here real quick to listen. All right. All right, cool guys, we're live. So hey guys, just wanted to do a quick little radio show. Roger only has like 10, 15 minutes, so we're gonna try to make this quick. But we just wanted to go over a few things, housekeeping things with the rules and the just started the new Madden season. From the games that we've been viewing so far, we've been looking over. We just want to make sure everyone's on the same page of what the expectations are for the league going forward. And yeah, so Roger, you want to start off with the, I guess, with what you've seen so far?
Yeah, there's first of all, I would say I think we're jumping right into another season where, especially people who played in SSL last year, already have a good base of how to play pretty realistically, matching up personnel. We're still not using base align, knowing when it makes sense to show blitz versus not showing blitz, having some kind of identity, whether you're one high, two high kind of team. The game now has match principles in it. You're probably using them whether you know it or not or like it or not. Unfortunately, they're mostly broken, so that's coming in a big patch coming soon. Is probably going to revolutionize defense for most of us, because right now a lot of the match coverages are totally busted and leading to a lot of one-play touchdowns. But yeah, it's looking good so far. I think there's just a couple things that we want to, as the season goes on, we kind of want to monitor. Where's Madden this year? What are the things that are leading to less than realistic outcomes? So I know the one thing that we talked about and has always been an issue is switching on defense or offense, switching to a player while the ball's in the air and attempting to make a play on the ball. So this year, I think we agree, Cody, that defense has a significant advantage in two-man situations.
Yeah, two-man situations where the defender gets beat, and they just have such an advantage on the makeup speed and the makeup and I think that has to do with your quarterback maybe a little bit, but for the most part, even with a really strong on quarterback, the defender, for some reason, is able to run at max speed when the wide receiver is not. So I don't know if that's ball trajectory or what that is, but yeah, there's something there, and you do have an advantage on defense. So I mean, we're sticking to what what we wanted last year with the switch rule is if you start on a player on defense, you can't switch to another player until the ball is getting there. So that means like for a pass play, like run plays, it's fine. But for a pass play, you can't switch while the ball's in the air and then use turbo to regain that matchup that the wide receiver won. You can't regain that matchup and then go and make a play on the ball, cut the receiver off or whatever, because that just creates problems with guys calling the right play against the right defense, and instead of them getting rewarded for that, they're getting penalized because of of what you can do on Madden. You can use turbo as a defensive player and get a huge boost over maybe even a faster wide receiver, and you can turn around and get an interception on a play that you shouldn't. shouldn't be able to do. I
Yeah,
have
and
an
actually,
example of this from last
specifically,
night. I have an example of this from last night that I'll post for you guys. I've already talked to Terrence about it, so he already knows it. It's not that big of a deal right now, but going forward, we're definitely going to be watching that and making sure guys aren't doing that. Go ahead,
also
Roger.
a huge part of the problem you're describing. This goes for linebackers as well, and I don't know if eventually this turns into a rule or what, but right now when you're playing in a zone, for example, and you kind of squat down on a route that you know is coming, the game, for whatever reason, does not seem to trigger animations most of the time, especially if you're holding the strafe button. And I already reported this to Clint and gave him some examples, but
Yeah.
When you're sitting there playing your zone properly, passing guys back and forth, and then you go and undercut a route, easy interception, you press the triangle button, and your guy literally does nothing. We've all had this happen many times. Now, when you do get the animation constantly is when you're beat, you turn around, you're running with the back of your helmet facing the quarterback, and right when the ball gets near you, you press triangle, you jump up and snatch that ball out of the air without even being able to see it. That animation happens all the time. So we need to be kind of aware of that, because that's even more exaggerated with defensive backs.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder though if having, for the linebacker purposes underneath, I wonder if having was it ball hawk? Yeah, I wonder if that's one of the reasons you're not getting those animations, because we all have it off in this league, or should. So I wonder if that's why you're not getting animations there, or what the deal is. But
no matter the setting though. Hey, what's up, man? No matter the settings, in every league where I find you can't get strafe picks, you can still get the back turned over the head picks.
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just an issue that they need to work on. Really, that should be reversed. Like, obviously, you should be picking balls off when you're facing the quarterback, and should never be picking it off when your back's to the quarterback. And right now, it's just flip-flopped to the point where it actually makes more sense to kind of run around with your back turned and no discipline, because you will get picks that way, and you won't get picks the other way. The other issue with two-man interactions, not even when you're beat necessarily, but if you just want to take a shot to a big body wide receiver, it's already the defense is already winning that interaction at least 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. It's weird too, because you'll get that, and then randomly you'll get like a little guy like jumping up in the three man coverage and taking it. It's so weird. But for 90% of the time, you're not. The defense has the advantage, even when they're.
And what happens 90% of the time is the receiver doesn't even try to make.
Doesn't even attempt to try to. Yeah, that's something that I don't know. I think that would improve the game a lot more if they would make the wide receivers make an attempt. They claim they added that a couple years ago. Like, if the ball's in the air, anyone in the vicinity is going to try to make a play on it. But I just don't see wide receivers doing that. I don't know if it's because I don't know. They just don't even turn around to even try to make a play on it.
And it's not ratings or traits based, because I know specifically when I have a guy like Julio Jones or any of those kind of like big jump ball type receivers, they don't try to make a play on the ball any more than anyone else does. But the defender, almost every time, they make the kind of play on the ball that the wide receiver should be trying to make.
Yeah, exactly.
So the reason I say that is they're already in position and they're going to do that. If you switch to them, you have that much more of an advantage that is already in the game. So that's a big reason why we don't want to switching them in the air, switching and going picking something off. It's just way too much of an advantage to the defense.
Yeah, no, for sure. My other thing would be, make sure you guys are looking over the rules again, because they have changed since last year. We took out the banning of compressed sets. We took out some other stuff, but also we tweaked some of the other rules.
What about the playmaker? Because I didn't see that in the rules. The
playmaker.
Like, is that available to be used again? I mean, because it's still to the point with AI as far as like on offense. Once the route ends, they just stay there.
Yeah.
Like they don't.
The issue with playmaker though is that when you direct someone, the defense doesn't respond to it. So you're always going to be able to tell them to go open. And typically what that means is almost every time when a person uses Playmaker, they send the guy vertical, and the guy that's guarding him, who's starting over top of him and has
just stays there.
Full,
yeah,
he just stays there. He won't move. So
yeah,
I
so Playmaker's still out.
Playmaker's
still out until, because like I talked to Clint about this. They haven't programmed anything into the game to account for Playmaker. So like they have to improve the AI to account for that, or that's just going to continue to stay broken. So that's something that's still going to be banned. And another thing I wanted to talk about was the hot routes. I'm seeing a lot of weird hot routes so far. Yes, you are allowed one hot route, but that in the rules it clearly states that one hot route cannot change the original concept of the play. And should only be utilized when you read like a blitz or in certain situations. Maybe the safety's playing down and you have they're playing press on the outside, like maybe then, okay, but like you shouldn't be changing concepts from say like a spot to a flood. Like you shouldn't be changing that within play. You should just put that play in and either audible or whatever and use it that way. Don't be changing concepts because you're creating whole new plays and for the advantage of just breaking the AI at that point. So that's something that I really, really want you guys to pay attention to. And then for defensive hot routes, there are no defensive hot routes of changing a man zone. The only thing you're allowed to do is change a zone to a blitz, or change a man to a blitz, or spy a person. That's it. You can't put a guy in. You can't come out in man and put a guy in a hard flat. You can't do that stuff. That's not realistic defense, and all it does is muddy the reads for an offense and creates an unrealistic concept for the offense to read. So none of those. So they'll be running some weird hybrid coverage out there. There are options in your playbook for match. There's options in your playbook for. I think there's a zone cover three lock that mans up the slot. So
yeah, you got that.
It's quick play.
Yeah.
So
there are things in there.
I don't do anything like that too often. Like usually, like what I do is like from my 3-3-5 formation, those 3 double buzz, I'll probably spy the blitzing linebacker or and kind of keep him in the middle of the field. Like that's about pretty much what all I'll do on that type of play right there. Other than that, I don't like change a man guy to a zone or shit like that.
And so the only other thing that I kind of want to get to is your offensive and defensive scheme. We've been a lot better over the past 2 years of this. I just want to keep progressing it though. So guys, I really want you guys to put together a scheme on offense and defense. Defense, you could either be a single high defense, cover 3, cover 1. There's options there. You can be a two high defense, but really try to have an identity, because that's what we're game planning for. We're game planning for identity. So if you're out there running cover 2 25% of the time, cover 3 25% of the time, man 25% of the time, and cover 3 25% of the time, that's not really an identity. Like no one can actually get anything from watching your film if that's what you're doing. Same thing on offense. If you're jumping around from all sorts of different techniques, different concepts, you're running every concept on Madden, then no one can really get a idea of what your game plan is. I don't know if you want to touch on this, Roger, but if you got anything to add to that. But just make sure you're putting together a cohesive scheme, and make sure there's concept overlap.
I would say I certainly agree with all of that. One thing that's related to what you're talking before with changing on defense, changing hot routes and such, and on offense. So offensively, there are some situations where if you do more than one hot route, no one who's sim-minded is going to complain. For example, you run 4 verticals and you want to go comebacks on the outside. That's a perfectly legitimate, realistic adjustment to make. The reason is in real life, virtually anyone who runs 4 verticals, those guys on the outside have option routes where they're either going deep or stemming back to the QB. Unfortunately, 4 verts in Madden is a very, very dumb version of 4 verts because also in most 4 verts, the inside receivers also have choice stems.
They have tags, depending on
whether they're bending inside or turning to dig or just by reading the safeties. So don't change concepts, and then also, even if you're not changing the main play concept, on the backside of the play, make sure that if you make an adjustment there, that you're tagging to a real concept, not just making some new crazy thing. Like, well, I didn't change spot because that's on the strong side. That's in the strength of the formation, but you created some kind of weird thing that doesn't exist. It only exists in Madden on the other side of the formation. Don't do that either.
Yeah. And don't and putting a slant in and then wait until the slant gets all the way to the sideline to throw it.
Yeah, exactly. And now there's another thing defensively that I'm seeing a lot of people do. Not necessarily in this league. It's just kind of becoming the new Madden meta. I don't have the percentage for this, and you could probably pull it, Cody.
Okay.
Since you usually have access to that. But basically, I want to know on a down-by-down basis how many guys are being rushed on defensively. How many guys are most defenses rushing?
In our league?
That number's got to be somewhere between 4 and 5 on average.
Oh, you saying in real life or in our league?
In real life. Yeah, in real life.
Oh, yeah,
The reason that I mentioned that is in the game, the meta is becoming to rush 3 and put a rat in the hole.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of fronts, yes.
Yeah, that's terrible. Like, I hate that. I mean, like, usually
Well, now having that spy there in real life, they call that rat in the hole. Having that spy there is useful against certain things. The problem is when you make something like that part of your, that's not a legitimate part of identity. That's not an identity. That's something that anyone can do at some point situationally. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now running compressed offenses, same way. Situationally, in the red zone, you want to run some compressed sets. Because of the compression of the field when you're in the red zone, that's what it's designed for. That's great. Running that constantly in the open field where defense doesn't align to it properly and all the outbreaking routes always win. Don't do that. Don't make it a part of your identity. Use it as a tool situationally.
Yeah. You wanted to touch on compressed sets while we're there, right? You wanted to touch on, So with compressed sets this year, we're not banning them outright, but they should not be your identity. They shouldn't be the only formations you're running plays out of. And I think Roger had some more. He wanted to talk about this. Right now, currently, they're still broken on the outside. You're gonna get instant leverage I think right now it has to do with how match and the match coverage are still broken, but for now, do not. I don't want to see that an every down formation. You can use it in goal or red zone situations, goal line situations, but not it's still broken. It's still broken for now until they patch coverage. Those condensed sets are still broken. I think Roger had some more to say about that, but.
Yeah, if you are going to run it in the open field, there's just a couple things that you must stay away from because they're so broken, and that is, number one, taking a receiver who's lined up on that compressed split. So he'd be the outside receiver, but he's only lined up a couple yards outside of the tackle. If he's on a skinny post, the safety's going to ignore him every time, and he's not going to get bumped. So that puts this guy in a position to where he's going to be open 30 yards down the middle of the field, basically every single time, unless someone uses it. Don't use that route in compressed ever. It's totally broken. Yeah. Another thing to watch this year, and if you go on YouTube and look at what everybody's running, all of these guys that are running compressed as their main offense, they use a ton of wheel routes. And the issue with that is because the compression of the field and how they align, they don't get out to the wheel route. So any number of combinations with double wheels, especially the compressed split where you can put both guys on wheels, it's totally broken. So, not going to say there's a problem with wheel routes, but out of compressed sets, it is going to be the meta this year for guys to run double wheels on both sides and all kinds of stuff that they're just taking advantage of. Pretty clear flaw in the game. So I would say for the most part, 90% of the time plus, if you're running compressed, you should be inside of 10 yards. In Madden, that's the function that it serves. In real life, there are teams that run it a lot more, but in Madden, the only way you can really contain it is to be in the red zone where you have less of that full field spacing issues advantage.
Yeah. The only other thing I would say offensively is that when you're running play action, make sure that you've established some sort of running game, and make sure that the running game that you establish is off of that play action. So if you're not running draws, don't run play action draw shot. If you're not running power row, don't run play action power row. If you know what I'm saying, like set your exactly. So just make sure your play action concepts are based around your running game, because if not, then all you're doing is just using that play because that play works better at that point. Like, use some sort of schematics to it where, hey, if you're running a zone offensive running scheme, find those play actions in that formation, or even in other formations, because I know Madden's playbooks are a little funky, and maybe there'll be a play action draw shot in one formation, but there won't be a draw in that formation. So as long as you're running draws, I'm cool with it. But don't make play action your only passing plays, because I've seen that so far too, where guys are just literally running play action as their only passing plays. Like, they either run the ball or run play action, which they're running play action way more than they're actually running the ball. So just something to take note of.
Yeah. Also, that said, if you're going to run a lot of play, like the effectiveness of play action in real life, heavy play action teams, which, by the way, nobody runs play action more than they run drop back passes, or at least on average. Now, there might be a team here and there that did that because it's such a strong run game. But on average, there's never been a year in the NFL in modern history where teams are running more play action than drop back passing when they want to pass the ball. Also, the percentages are very different between teams that run their offense out of the gun and teams that still run a lot of under center. There's way more play action opportunity for teams that run under center than teams that run out of the gun in real life. There's also a huge disparity in play action percentage on down and distance. So typically first down, you see more play action than any other down. Second and short, you see the next most play action. Third and long, you virtually see no play action. You're talking like 5 to 8% of passing plays on third and long are play action.
Yeah, I that's one thing that I saw a lot last Madden, is guys running play action shots and play action on third and long. That shouldn't be happening. There's
shot
no
plays are a first down or second and short situational. That's virtually the only time you run shot plays.
That's when shot plays, and if you go into my playbook and look at my game plan, that's the only time I have shot plays in. First down, second and short. So, that's what that's for. Shot plays are not meant for third and long or the goal line. I've seen guys run shot plays on the goal line, and I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing?
What shot are you taking?
Yeah. Yeah, do not do that. That makes no realistic sense whatsoever. I don't want to see any more shot plays on the goal line.
I would love for EA Sports to patch in, and I mean, I'm not sure if we can get this bubbled up to them, man, but I love on NCAA the linked plays, this run links to this play action, when you ran that play a couple of times, you got a bonus or a boost to the linked play action play. Hey, this defense might be more susceptible to bite on this now. I wish that shit was in the game, still.
Yeah, and two, I wish guys would start if you're killing me in the run game, I'm gonna play more aggressively. I'm gonna bring my safeties down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And in real life, teams do that. And then they hit them. That's when they hit them.
Shots over the top.
Exactly.
Last night when I played
on Madden, it's not like that. On Madden, you can just set back in your drop zones and continue to sit back in your drop zones. You know what I mean? Like,
you have that, and then even on Madden, when like you'll bring a safety down, or show blitz, and like it is, they should attempt to press. They don't. They bail out so quickly on Madden.
Yeah,
you still can't get on top of them
that's really the issue. That's what it comes down to. Is even if you do bring your safeties down, you're able to then. When I was playing my game, I think it was a preseason. No, I think it was actually my game I just played against Fernando. So he brought his safeties all the way down into the box, and it was press man cover 1. And so he had his free safety down in the box. I had my number 1 wide receiver out wide against press. He beat the press instantly by 5 yards, 10 yards. And then he was able to track that down with his free safety when he didn't have the angle. He didn't have anything. So he ran all the way over there and tracked it down with the free safety. And I'm like, what? Like, that makes no sense. It's just so that's the issue with Madden, is you're able to, as a user on defense, you're able to recover too quickly to those plays with a shitty player. It doesn't even have to be a good player. But I don't know, Roger, you got anything else? I know you got to run, bro.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, all right, guys. Let me know if you got any questions about any of the rules or any expectations that we have here. I do want to start seeing, guys use the YouTube. We have all the film on YouTube split up by divisions, so you can go in there and you can find your opponent's last game and break that down. It'd be really cool if you guys would start breaking down film, maybe post one every once in a while. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. SSL Radio will be back live soon. Appreciate it. You guys have a good one. Let's get to week 2. Later, guys.